They said The Godfather was fiction, a masterpiece, a cinematic legend. But what if I told you some of the most iconic moments weren't invented at all? They were borrowed from real mob bosses, real crimes, and real people who were still alive, watching themselves on screen. These are 5 times The Godfather wasn't just a movie, it was real life. When you watch the funeral scenes in The Godfather, they feel different, quiet, controlled, almost organized. That's because they were. Director Francis Ford Coppola didn't just stage a funeral. He recreated real Italian-American mob traditions. The black suits weren't just wardrobe, they were uniform. The positioning of people around the casket, that reflected rank and power. Who stood closest? Who hung back? Who spoke? And who stayed silent? Who left and never came back? Just like your dad. None of it was random. Because in that world, even grief has a hierarchy. And even in death, power is still being displayed. Subscribe to Chrono. You know the scene. A Hollywood producer wakes up and finds a severed horse head in his bed. It's one of the most shocking moments in film history. And it's even worse when you realize that was a real horse head. Francis Ford Coppola originally planned to use a prop, but it didn't look convincing. So the production sourced an actual horse head from a slaughterhouse via a dog food company. The actor had no idea. So when he pulls back the sheets, that reaction, that panic, that scream, that's not acting. That's real. He was not a fan of horse meat. Subscribe to Chrono. It's hard to imagine now, but The Godfather almost didn't have its most iconic character, because Paramount didn't want Marlon Brando. At the time, he had a reputation. Difficult, unpredictable, too risky. The studio flat out refused. So Brando took matters into his own hands. He showed up for a screen test, slicked his hair back, darkened his eyes, and stuffed tissues into his cheeks to create that now famous jawline. Then he spoke. Slow, quiet, controlled, and just like that, Don Vito Corleone was born, bigger than life, just like your mom. The studio backed down, and one of the greatest performances ever put on film almost never happened because no one believed in it. Subscribe to Chrono. After The Godfather was released, something strange happened. The Mafia didn't reject it. They embraced it. And then they started copying it. Phrases like, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse," weren't just movie quotes anymore. They became part of real-world conversations, real intimidation, real power plays, real mumbling unintelligibly. The film didn't just reflect organized crime, it influenced it. Mobsters began modeling behavior after characters like Michael Corleone. Cooler, quieter, more calculated. Hollywood didn't just tell the story, it helped evolve it. Subscribe to Chrono. Don Vito Corleone feels too real to be fictional, and that's because he kind of isn't. Many believe the character was heavily inspired by Frank Costello, one of the most powerful mafia bosses of his time. Unlike the loud, flashy gangsters you see in movies, Costello was different. He avoided unnecessary violence. He worked through influence, politics, connections, the big personality, bigger than your mum, power without noise. Sound familiar? Even Marlon Brando studied his mannerisms to shape the character. That calm voice, that measured tone, that quiet authority. It wasn't invented, it was observed. Subscribe to Chrono. So the next time you watch The Godfather, remember, you're not just watching a movie, you're watching a reflection of power, of crime, of a world that didn't disappear, it just got smarter. Because sometimes, Hollywood doesn't create the story, it just exposes it. Subscribe to Chrono. Because history isn't always what you were told. Unless you subscribe, then it will be.